right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dal, and this is Brother Scott. All right, hey, got a few things we want to run by you. Brother Greg just got finished making a video, and the video consisted of listening to a wise man. And of course, you know, this part two, and I'm going to put it on the tail end of this particular video right here. But the one thing I want you to be able to hear and understand is that this is a man, and I want you to listen to me, that has a job. I think he makes somewhere close to maybe $80,000 or $100,000 a year, something like that. He lived in one of those big old gigantic homes, probably about 3,000 to 4,000 square foot in Houston, Texas. I mean, like 2 and 3 stories. It's got like, I mean, it was huge, huge. Him and Mitchell did. And of course, they came across me, and they started listening to me. And of course, they heard me harping about getting out of debt, getting out of the cities, getting rid of those mortgages, the whole 9 yards. Same thing you did, you know, same thing you did in California. But they followed what I said, and they're still following what I'm saying. And of course, Brother Greg, he really breaks it down. He breaks it down about what I keep telling y'all, what's going on in this world, that the corporations are finished with this country. And it should have taught you something with General Motors. But anyway, Brother Greg works for Shell. And Brother Scott, he worked for a company that had dealings with Shell. And so, you know, they have unions. You know, Brother Greg and them have a union and stuff. And I want all you people to understand this. These people who you're paying to be your union representatives, you think that they've got your best interest in mind. But they're taking care of themselves. Oh, they're in a negotiating room and table, but their paycheck has not stopped, while yours has. And you need to understand that. But I'm going to add all this in after we get Brother Scott to take in on a few things here. I need you to speak up too, okay?
Yes.
Speak up loud. All right, now, Brother Scott, he worked for a company that has something to do with Shell and stuff. And, of course, he can pretty much break down what's going on between the unions and how they're pitting people against each other and so forth and so on. So, Brother Scott, what said you about what you just heard, what Brother Greg just got finished speaking about?
Well, after everything I've heard from pastor preaching about this in the past, and now what's coming to pass with the unions, it's something where these unions don't have a place at the table with these big corporations. I worked for one of the largest environmental and engineering construction firms, and our biggest client was Shell. And you have nothing at the bargaining table if you're not a big corporation like I work for. If you're a part of these unions, you're going to get cut because they look at everything global. The states don't matter. If they have the same production going on in Singapore or Hong Kong or another place in another country, they're going to look at these unions that they're paying too much to for production in the states, and they're going to slash everything. And if you watch Brother Greg's video, key point he hit on was that they're basically at the bargaining table now with Shell, and Shell's going to win because they're stuck without their benefits now. They're not getting paid because they're picketing, and they're going to cave because that's usually how it always turns out, because these big corporations are the big fish in the pond.
They are going to cave under. So there's a lot of people that are out there that are considering what's happening, because you think about it. Brother Greg brought up another point that I'll harp on all the time in his ministry. Number one is about predication. Number one has to do with do not depend on the system. In other words, change your mind. Change the way you think. In order to do that, that means you're going to have to forego some of these comforts that you have right now, and in order to benefit later on. And if you don't do it now, regardless of whether you do not do it or not, you're going to pay for it either way it goes. You're going to pay for it. And so Brother Greg said that these people, one of the main concerns is that health care. You know, my wife's got cancer. What are we going to do about a chemotherapy? Shell don't give a damn. Shell just got finished saying your benefits is cut. They don't care one bit about your wife got chemotherapy, you that got child support, practicing serial polygamy. They don't care nothing about all you people with your car notes, your boat notes, and your house notes. They are the ones that is providing you a paycheck. And they are sitting down at this table in the alpha position. In other words, this is what we're going to give you. You don't like it, then you can take it or leave it. And the more likely you are going to take it if you're in this extraordinary amount of debt. And so now they're causing an insurrection between the union and the people. And there are going to be a lot of people that is going to jump that line. Like Brother Scott said, they're going to cave in. They're going to cave in. They're going to go across that picket line, and they're going to be called all kinds of names about their so-called colleagues, constituents, friends, associates, and you keep on going with the superlatives. But you're going to find out all that mess is thrown out the door when it's come time for you to put some food on the table. You're sick because you live after the American lifestyle, and you will not take personal responsibility for your own health care because you depend on the system to give you health care through a shot or through a pill. And you're suffering for it. And people don't wonder, well, why are you so passionate about this, Pastor Dow? Because, again, that is considered a forest. Turn over there for a second, Elias. All right, that's considered a forest. And what you people got a problem with, you can't see the trees because there's a forest there. you have no vision whatsoever at all. Without a vision, the people perish. And we're watching. I told you this country getting into a third world order conditions. Now, people are belly aching because they wanted to borrow from the future, living in debt. They don't want to make any lifestyle changes. You made a lifestyle change, didn't you? Great lifestyle change. And you're going to suffer for it because you depend on the system. You depend on the system. And if you continue to keep functioning like that, you're done for it. You're finished. You're over with and you're done. And you're going to watch these people cross this picket line. You're going to watch these people start getting mad. Spirits are going to rise up. Things are going to start flying. You're going to see pickets. You're going to see fighting. You're going to see everything going on. Because these people are going to cave into the corporations because this is what they're going to offer them. Because the union is not giving you a paycheck. The union is not providing a living for you and your family. And that union, all those officers are still getting paid while they're sitting at the negotiating table and you are sitting at home. You're not getting anything. And you people need to wake up and start smelling the coffee. And just like Brother Greg says, now, when you start biting up the fruit of lies and you start going in and caving in and you no longer have faith to believe in this union, you're going to believe in the corporations. Now, guess what? The union is supposed to be there. I guess the days of Jimmy Hoffa is really not working no more, is it? So anyway, so when you start dealing with these corporations right here, they are going to now have total, complete, 100% control over you. That means if they tell you to dress this way, you're going to dress that way. For those of you who are so-called religious and you want Sunday off or you want the Sabbath off, if the corporation tell you to work, you will work. If not, they will fire you and replace you. So all your negotiation, all your bargaining, and everything else you had, it's all gone. It's all period and gone. They don't want to hear about no EEOC. Ain't going to be no EEOC. And Shell is such a big corporation, as well as the rest of these people. And you people need to understand, they don't care about you. They care about what you produce. The amount of money that they pay you, you making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're making billions of dollars. And you thinking that you're living high on a hog. So guess what? Many of you have not been wise. And this is why I keep telling you, come out of these churches, come out of these religious organizations that don't have any vision at all for you and your future. And most of you, you're going to be caught in those cities. And it's going to be a mess. I'm going to paint a picture here for a second. All right? You're on the East Coast, and a natural disaster is getting ready to take place. With the way HARP and everything else is going on, you might as well, pretty much, New York, you might as well expect a tsunami. You might as well expect a tsunami. Now, check this out. Suppose you have a natural disaster that comes, and it's going to hit New York kind of like the way Katrina hit Louisiana. You saw how apathetic and complacent that those people were and how they didn't move. But you saw Bishop Paul S. Morton jump on his Lear jet and he got the hell out of Dodge. And then he came back after all his death, hell, suffering, coffins floating up on the ground because of the flood and everything else. And he came back to the same old church, the same old stupid people that funded him, and so called the pastors up. And he said, we've been through a lot, y'all. And you know what? He's a hireling because he fled and left the sheep for destruction. How many of you think you can get out of New York City on I-95 when it's time to evacuate and you only got hours for this storm before it hits? We got insanity. We have got chaos. We live out here in the country. We're on top of a mountain. Home, home on the range, where the deers and the antelopes play. Well, seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies all cloudy all day.
From the chemtrails.
From the chemtrails. We're doing good. We're doing fine. You know why? Because I chose to make the sacrifice 25 years ago, 20-something years ago.
There it is.
Now, 20-something years ago, I read the Bible for myself. I didn't go and see what somebody else had to say about it. I read it for myself. I started to put two and two together. I started look. I'm in my 20s now. That's when you're young and dumb. I read the Bible. I started reading for myself. I go, look at here. My experience in the military and having to go on missions in third world countries started to give me a global perspective and example. I lived outside of the country for 3 years. So I started looking at this thing. I go, you know what? This book is right. And these people are having us to trust in these people who are selling us a bill of goods, putting money in a bag with holes. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start living and doing what this book says. And because I'm living and doing what this book says, not only do I benefit from it, but everyone that has an ear to hear and listen, they benefit from it. Now, there's Doug Bell over there. Right wave, Brother Doug Bell. Brother Doug Bell has been with me from day one before we even started this community. When we were living in the city, stacked up in houses like sardines. Is that right, Brother Doug?
Not quite. I wasn't with you in the city.
You wasn't with me in the city?
Right.
Well, when did you come out here?
The first year after y'all moved out here, I came.
The first year after we moved out here, he came. All right, so that's good. I thought you was with us in Gallatin.
I felt it with you, but y'all still.
Oh, okay, so he fellowshiped with us in Gallatin. So he's been with me ever since Gallatin. And he's been out here 16 years, is that right? On this community. On this community. You glad you, turn the camera back around, Brother Doug Bell. Speak up loud, Brother Doug Bell. Are you glad you made this move?
Yes, sir.
Brother Doug Bell, do you have a home?
Yes, sir.
Does it have running water in it?
Yes, sir.
Is it paid for?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any debt?
No, sir.
Oh, man.
Hallelujah.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back around. Do you have a wife?
Yes, sir.
A family?
Yes, sir.
Like the book said.
Come on, bro. Come on, brother. I be damned. Somebody has done benefited from the word. Your bootlicking preachers are liars. All these people in these corporations are liars with their selfish rear end. You better take good heed of what I said, because this ain't the first time I've been harping on this. I've been harping on this for years. And all you people out there that are confederate against Pastor Dalby, the only reason why you don't like what I got to say is because you got to get off your lazy ass and do something. And when you have to get off your lazy ass and do something, you rather condemn somebody that's doing something because you ain't producing nothing yourself. And that's the reason why. And the people that are mostly talking about me, they either renting, or they in debt in a mortgage and they don't own a damn thing. And somebody say, well, why the way you got to use those superlatives, Pastor Dow? Because if you wasn't so cheap and if you wasn't so base-minded and simple, maybe I could use some words that could penetrate your conscience, but because you're hard-headed as hell, you're going to suffer like everybody else unless you repent and turn from your wicked ways. I get a little bit passionate, bro. You know what I mean?
Hallelujah.
Because I know what I'm talking about. I know it. Without a vision, the people perish. Are you stuck in the cities? You listen to these preachers, you're going to perish. You're going to perish just like with the wicked. Just like with the wicked with Sodom and Gomorrah. But Brother Greg has got something to say. Part 2 in his video right here. You do well to listen to what he has to say. We're going back to work on our land. Because this land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands. You won't own nothing. You are a fool because you paid for the lies the USA sold you. That's exactly what's going on. You might not like my delivery, but carefully meditate on what I'm saying, and you'll see that at least one thing about Pastor Dow. I loved you enough to tell you the truth. Brother Greg.
Bless you, saints of the Most High Yah. This is Brother Greg again with part 2. Now, I just came from our first union meeting, our first union gathering since the declaration and activation of this strike. And I'm telling you, I got a doozy for you. So this video, we're going to take a slightly different angle, sort of, because the first one was mainly on the financial front. But man, I tell you, there's something else you said, Pastor, a good little while back that hit me tonight, and that was how people are going to be dependent on the system. Yep. So keep that in mind, saints, being dependent on the system as I continue with this. So as we're at this meeting, they're talking about the propositions and the negotiations and all those things, all the details of their sit down, company and union. So in the midst of going over all these things and having the discussion with the union people, the chairman stands up and says, "Oh, as of 12:01 a.m. February 1st, Shell has turned off your benefits." You don't think them ears propped up when they heard that? The benefits got turned off. So all of a sudden, man, hands start waving in the air like they just don't care. Raising hands up. Wanting to ask questions about it now. And guess what? So they had questions like, "Oh, my wife got chemotherapy treatments to go through, and as of this document, medications aren't covered, and they're going to have medications that goes along with these treatments." I'm like, man. Then another lady pops up. "Oh, in a couple of weeks I got a surgery on this and that, and am I covered?" Then the fella popped up saying, "Oh, I called them, and they said they need a 30-day notice. They need a 30-day notice, so I'm still covered." But the chairman got up and says, "As of February 1st, 12:01, your benefits have been turned off. But we got a medical plan, an emergency one. But in that emergency medical plan coming from the union, mind you, all these people pay union dues every check. There were certain things covered, certain things uncovered. So now you got people like, well, oh, mine's not covered under this. And then the other people like, well, I got this and this ain't covered." I was like, man, look, all these medical problems. Everybody's sick. Sick. Now, Straightway is our model. There's no one in Straightway under any doctor's care. No one taking medications. Okay? They're set apart. They're self-sufficient. And I'm listening to these people. And the majority of the things they're talking about, their sicknesses and so on and so forth, can pretty much be preventable if they change their lifestyle. Change their eating habits. Move a little bit. People don't care about themselves nowadays. They really don't. We got a lot of saints don't care about themselves nowadays. We got a lot of saints waddling around. Take care of this temple. Because these people depend on the system when it comes to this medical stuff. Oh my goodness, they depend on the system. And they're all scared. They're all scared out of their minds. Don't know how long the strike is going to be. And they're worried about their soon coming medical surgeries or conditions and so on and so forth. They're dependent on the corporation, on the system. Another guy jumps up. "I got truck notes." Chairman didn't have a good answer for him. Then, this is a big one. Guy jumps up, says, "Well, what are y'all going to do? I got child support payments." Child support payments. You can grab a heathen. You probably got some more saints that still ain't on board, but People will talk down. Society will talk down on polygyny. Yo, yeah, they will. They will talk down on polygyny hard. But look where serial polygyny has gotten these people. This is women and men in this corporation. Serial polygyny, look at where it got them. Paying child support to a prior marriage, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was under a marriage contract with the state. You're paying her half of your check, but then you're still stupid because while you're paying her half of your check, you got another lady over here. You still want to buy vehicles and go build houses so you can still live a high, lofty, egotistical lifestyle while you got to give up half your check over here and your life is dependent on the overtime and not, instead of just being content, having a simple home, living a simple life, being healthy, of course, in our case, keeping the commandments, you may not have to worry about all those things. So this all tripped me out, you know. And looking at all this and seeing that these people are depending on the corporation, depending on the system, and the system knows that they depend on them. The corporations know which buttons to push, what cords to pull, what strings to pull on you. I even heard from a coworker of mine that the Shell's talking about putting a package out to all the people who are over the picket fence, that are over the picket lines. They want to put out a package that is going to tempt them to cross the union lines, cross the picket lines, and come back into work. Come on back. Come on. I'll give you this. I'll give you this. Come on back. Because they know you depend on them. So if they can tempt you to cross that picket line, yeah, you'll go back into work, and yeah, you go back into making your wage all over again. But you have no more union backing now, traitor. So now that you're in there with no union backing, I don't like you because of the way you dress. You're fired. You can't do that. This is Texas. Get out of here. Some people probably have no choice by the end of this week but to take a package and cross over the line. Somebody was tempted to cross over the line and they did. Now he's marked by the union. But this is the whole scheme that the companies are doing. The whole scheme of it is this. If they want the union out, which by the way, Pastor, you were completely correct on. They want the union gone. So the more numbers you have, the more power you got. You got power in numbers. The more people you can tempt across the picket line, since they are been very irresponsible with their health, very irresponsible with their finances, very irresponsible in their serial polygyny. They depend on you. But while they're outside that picket fence, cut off the benefits, cut off their wages, cut off all this stuff, tempt them to come on back, take power away from the union. The closer you get to getting rid of them as a whole. But that's all corporation stuff, right? Mainly for you saints, this is another reason to listen to a wise man. Pay attention to your health. Pastor preaches that. I mean, it was continuous. It's continuous. He preaches that all the time. Take care of yourself, saints. Take care of your temple. Get out there. Move. Sweat. Eat right. That's where it starts anyway. My goodness. And stop being selfish too, by the way. Stop being selfish. A lot of these people are in financial issues. They have financial issues because they're selfish as hell. They got an egotistical mindset and everything's self. I gotta look better than the next man. I gotta have the bigger boat. I gotta have the bigger house. I gotta have the biggest jacked up truck with the biggest mud and tires. I gotta have it all. I gotta look better than you. But y'all union brothers. But that's another story. That's union stuff. As far as saints is concerned, these are the examples to avoid. This is more the reason to be on the community. This is more the reason to not be selfish. And I think, honestly, a lot of people, even in the ministry, still got a selfish mentality. There's a particular mirror that you got to look into every day. And I hope people are looking into it. Because if there's one thing this ministry told me about me, it told me who I really was. It showed me me. Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Keep listening to wise men. Thank you, Pastor. Pastor Dow. Thank you, Pastor Corey. Thank you, Pastor Joe Fox. Thank you, elders. Thank you, heads of fellowships. Listen to wise men. They're here for the benefit of the congregation, the benefit of the assembly, the benefit of the ministry. Listen to a wise man. Listen to wise men. Man, this is some crazy stuff, ain't it? But I'm glad it ain't me. Because I had an ear to hear. And I thank the Father every day for the best gift he could have ever given me. And that was an ear to hear. He rose up his pastors and his elders and heads of fellowships. But we would have never heard this pastor if he didn't bless us with the ear to hear. I'm thankful for it. Bless you, saints. Keep listening to wise counsel. Keep receiving wise counsel. Take active criticism, please. If somebody tells you about yourself, you might as well go ahead and look in the mirror and make sure it's you. Yeah, okay, that's me. Then change it. Right? Bless you, saints. I'm talking too much. Good night. Shalom.
Thank you.